Fellas, AC here. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to do winter designer list for 2024-2025, and I'm hoping you're in absolutely fantastic mood after Christmas. Enjoyed the Christmas video. I really appreciate all the beautiful birthday wishes and comments. I couldn't thank you enough. So let's do designer fragrances for winter 2024-25. I've already done a budget fragrance list. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video. So that's budget fragrances for winter done. This list focuses on, I made this list as diverse as possible to cater to all sorts of tastes. So let's start. The first on the list is a vintage fragrance. I really like sometimes to wear complex vintage fragrances. And this one is a very famous fragrance. It gets very little limelight nowadays. I've done a full review of these fragrances. There are only two fragrances in this list that I haven't reviewed, and I'll let you know when I get there. So this fragrance here, Equipage by Hermès, it gets so little talk, and it is one of the nicest fragrances out there. It's an old fragrance. It came out in 1970, and it's almost 55 years old. It's so good that Guerlain copied it and created Guerlain Derby. There's very little difference between this and Derby. The only difference is the price. You know, you can get this Hermès for anywhere between 70 and 105, 110. The Derby will cost you, I think, £200, if not more. So this one is basically classed as an Oriental fougère. It uses a very sweet cinnamon as an anchor note, if you like, and then brings in a fougère-like structure around that. So at the top is the citruses, customary citruses, then there's lavender, and the most important and interesting note is pine resin. And then in the middle, in the bottom of the fragrance, there's oak moss, there's patchouli, but there's this hidden note of leather, and Derby is known for its leather note. This is beautiful leather, and it creates, and if you look at the sticker at the back of the bottle, you'll see a person in a tall hat trying to mount a horse, you know, hanging onto the saddle. So that tells you the story. This is about an equipage, I believe, means paraphernalia, equipment. I would imagine that to be horse riding equipment. So that's the idea. Fragrance is absolutely fantastic. The right time to wear this fragrance is, if you want to test it out, is when you're in your own company, walking in the woods on a chilly day but sunny day. Let all the notes shine through and give you that enjoyment I get. It's like, you know, standing on a hillside on a sparsely wooded forest with sunlight flowing through the woods, through the trees and hitting you. That sort of imagery is what I get. It's a nature-like scent, beautifully made, very complex, and develops quite a bit. And your body chemistry also plays a part in which notes get amplified from time to time. Equipage. Let's bring this fragrance back into limelight. It's a very, very good fragrance. Next on my list is another wonderful masculine fragrance. It is superb. This one is Rassasi's La Yeucouvan. Now, La Yeucouvan is basically a clone or an adaptation of Tuscan leather. I adore Tuscan leather. I love Tuscan leather, but I like this one even more. And the first sniff you get, you smell as if you're a pretty wealthy person. And most of that wealth hasn't come from, you know, legal means. So it has this bad boy or bad person sort of a overhang. But the fragrance is amazing. Some people say this, the opening of the fragrance smells like cocaine. I wouldn't know. But the vibe of the fragrance is that of a baddie, you know. But the fragrance is absolutely amazing. It's fruity, nutty, sort of a leather with emphasis on leather and warmth, sort of ambery warmth and dryness as well, like hay. It's a complex fragrance. It is also one of the nicest fruity leathers you can buy. But don't let fruity leather fool you. This is not an easy to wear fragrance, and this is definitely not a fragrance for beginners. Let me tell you that. You need a little bit of an experience to enjoy both Tuscan leather and La Yukon. Next on my list is an oud. Now, winter is definitely the time to wear oud fragrances. Now, when I'm wearing oud fragrances, I'm very conscious of the fact that I do not like skank in my oud. I don't like any skanky smell, any animalic smell. But this one here has a little skank. And this is again one of those fragrances just like Equipage. Nobody talks about it. I reviewed this fragrance back in 2017. This fragrance is, in my view, one of the nicest budget oud fragrances money can buy. So this one is called Rasasi Tenel Oud Nashwa. So look at the packaging. It's packaged like the Aquilaria tree, and oud in nature forms exactly like this. The texture is exactly like this. And that's the packaging. Is there oud in this, real oud? I do not know. It's not expensive. Well, when I got this bottle, it used to be 18 or 19 pounds for 40 ml, right? Now this is, I just checked, it's 50 pounds for 40 ml. So it's more than doubled in price. And when you smell this, it's an extremely rich smell. It's powdery, very, very rich and very dense. So, what is this? This is honey, very dense honey. And that probably brings in the animalic skankiness. There's Cambodian oud here, so which brings in the slight hint and nuance of tobacco with woodiness. And there is patchouli. So it is really dense. Oh, there's another note which is unmistakable but not mentioned. Rich, dark chocolate. Think about it. Chocolate, and Cambodian oud has a chocolatey note as well. Tobacco, honey, patchouli. It's a very rich scent, very sweet initially, and very powdery. It is intensely powdery. So if you don't like powdery smells, stay away from this one. Okay? If you want to enjoy something which is complex, rich and dense, go ahead. Get this while you can. I have a sneaky suspicion this will be discontinued because in spite of being so well made, hardly anyone talks about this fragrance, you know. And if you want to experience what an oud fragrance can do, try this one. Such a rich, multi-layered, complex fragrance. So, moving on. Next one on my list, number 4 from the bottom, is a cheapie. So I've done a cheapie list, but I didn't feature this one in that list. This is, okay, if you've not smelled Angel Men by Mugler, then let me walk you through it. So this one basically is a clone of Angel Men, or an inspiration of Angel Men. Look at this packaging. Probably the most hideous packaging in the entire perfumery world. But this is where the oddness of the fragrance goes away. And the fragrance smells absolutely amazing. So this one depends on very radiant amber. Loads of citruses. Lavender. Coffee. Just like Angel Men, but very little tar. Angel Men has a tarry aspect. Very little tar here. There is tar, but very little. And there's more lemony, more radiance. And that's why I like this fragrance. This performs as well beautifully. And the most important thing is, when I bought this, it cost me £6 for 100 ml. It still is available around about that value. If you're paying more than £10 for this, you're doing it wrong. And it smells superb. There's no cheapness about this. There's no harshness about this. This is trying to do Angel Men and it's doing it very well without all the notes I mentioned, missing notes. Tar is the missing note here. It smells really nice and you have to withstand the packaging. Packaging is absolutely ridiculous. So the 4 done, 5th one from the bottom. Next on my list is a fragrance which is hard to get hold of, but I think I thought of including it because it's so beautiful and it smells absolutely luxurious. You know, in winter, rose is a superb note, but if you combine rose with oud and saffron, it becomes absolutely next level luxury, and that's what the next fragrance is. Dolce & Gabbana Mysterious Nights. This is, if you can get hold of it, this is trying to do a Middle Eastern fragrance and it's trying to do it, you know, earnestly. Recently, I criticized Hugo Boss Absolute because it was trying to do a Middle Eastern fragrance, but it did it so badly that it didn't meet any of the criteria. You know, Middle Eastern fragrances are luxurious, and second thing is they don't cost a lot of money. But then rose, the kind of rose used here, is very strong, is absolute luxury. It's very dense, jammy, and radiant rose, mixed with the most beautiful smell of saffron. Imagine the finest Iranian saffron, and then it's brightened up with a sort of a grapefruit, and then towards the end, when it dries down, it becomes woody, like sandalwood, and just so beautiful execution is it will leave you no room to criticize this fragrance. It's beautiful. Excuse me. So, highly recommend this fragrance for, if you can find it, for date nights, for weddings, winter weddings, for places where you really want to throw your weight around. It has tremendous projection, absolutely huge scent cloud, and smells terrific. So, anywhere you want to show off, party, black tie events, weddings, winter weddings, evening weddings, smells amazing. First date, regular date, smells absolutely luxurious and princely and masculine. Beautiful fragrance. So, Mysterious Night, Dolce & Gabbana. So 5 done, 5 to come. Next on my list is another Dolce & Gabbana, and it is so easy to wear and is so beautiful and elegant that you can wear this to any occasion without thinking about it. It is Dolce & Gabbana The One, Eau de Parfum. Now this is, if it needs any praise, let me start by saying this is a creation by Olivier Polch, the person who created Spice Bomb. Stunning fragrance. This is absolutely stunning. It has this spicy facet, it has this tobacco note, but the most important note in this fragrance is the most sunniest, fruitiest orange blossom I've ever smelled. Absolutely lush. And it also has this clean outer shower smell. So this fragrance is a fragrance that you put on when you want to impress one and all. And if you're going for a first date, you spray 4 on your shirt or on your jacket and see the magic this works. Women absolutely adore this fragrance. It's the classiest fragrance in this list, hands down. It doesn't try hard. It doesn't pretend to be light. It is just so good that it will be light. That's the kind of fragrance. Immense confidence boost. Wear this to an occasion where you want to impress. It could be first job interviews, first date, normal date. This is not beast mode like the previous one, but it's still very, very noticeable. And women just pick it and they love this fragrance. So if you want to impress women, have this in your collection. Dolce & Gabbana The One, Eau de Parfum. Next on my list is another very, very radiant and very well made fragrance. This one is Cartier Declaration Eau de Parfum. Now, Cartier Declaration is an iconic fragrance. And this one takes that iconic formula of orange and cumin with beautiful rosy watery notes, removes the rosy watery notes and brings in bitter orange with a sort of benzoin tolu-like smell. I love the smell of tolu. So benzoin, vanillic, tolu balsam, floral ambery and leather. It is really sophisticated, very sexy and extremely alluring. The only downside is cumin. On my skin, cumin doesn't play havoc. On some skin, cumin plays havoc. It just smells like body odor. Test it out, and if it works in your skin, this will become one of the most amazing fragrances in your collection. Luxurious, rich, sexy, and very modern, very radiant. Beautiful fragrance. Cartier Declaration Parfum. 3 left. Next on my list is another, sort of a very elegant and sophisticated scent. It's beautiful. This is Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum. This is based around vanilla and tolu balsam, just like the previous one. And it's not sweet, it's creamy and rich. It's a very rich smell. It smells absolutely beautiful when the weather is really cold and evening time. Really cold weather brings all the beautiful, creamy, aromatic aspects of the scent. It's vanilla, Total Balsam with sort of brightness to it. It's radiant. It's really beautifully made. And it is also smells very expensive. If you get smelt, it doesn't have a huge amount of projection, but it has a fantastic sort of scent bubble. If people walk into your scent bubble, they're bound to praise you because it smells so luxurious and rich and high quality. Expensive smelling fragrance, hands down. Beautifully well made. So, last two. This fragrance, okay, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm yet to review this one here. I forgot the name now. Prestige, Cuba Prestige. I have to review this one. So the next on my list is another fragrance which I haven't reviewed yet. But this fragrance is really capturing my interests, my imagination. It's a superb fragrance. It is Lalique, and this one is Ombre Noir. Ombre Noir, I'm testing it at the moment. And a few days ago, I just put two on my jacket, on my sort of wind cheater, if you like. I forgot about it. Next morning, I was going out and I thought I'll just put it on. I put that on and the smell, the beauty of that smell just completely captured me. I remembered what I had sprayed, and thankfully so, because it was bothering me. It was so beautiful and I just couldn't remove the jacket all day. It was absolutely terrific. So it smells of amber, but amber like you've smelled in Baccarat Rouge. So crushed glass, sweet and sour, with mineral notes, with sweet and sour tones, with warmth and booziness and smoke. So many facets, and it smells absolutely mesmerizing. It's beautiful, very sensual, very, very well made, and that too for very little money. I got mine for 35. You can get this anywhere between 35 and 45. You should not be without this fragrance if you really like ambery, warm, spicy, smoky fragrances. You can wear this to any occasion, wintertime. You'll smell gorgeous, and it's so beautifully made. People will go nuts around you, So watch the sprays though. It's quite strong. Last in the list is a fragrance that I have praised again and again. I'll never be without this fragrance. This fragrance is absolutely magical. It is Dior Homme Parfum. This fragrance is absolutely magical. And I've heard, sadly, there's a new version out, which is Dior Homme Parfum Intense. And it's been created by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen the notes breakdown. And what bothers me is in the base of the fragrance, they have introduced patchouli. And that patchouli is beginning to bother me. I hope not, but I just inferred that patchouli could be the same waxy patchouli I encountered with Guerlain Habit Rouge Parfum. I recently reviewed it and it really didn't impress me at all. I criticized it badly. And I probably think that's the worst release of 2024. And I saw patchouli in the notes breakdown of the 2025 version, and alarm bells started ringing. I was thinking to myself, I hope not. So this is the best of the Dior line, in my view. It has a stunning note of leather. It has a stunning note of oud. And the most important thing is how classy this smells. You smell it and I feel an instant surge of confidence, of happiness, of possessing something really wonderful. So I'm going to get myself a backing bottle. That's what I thought. Obviously, I'm going to sample the new version and to see if that patchouli is the same waxy patchouli, which annoys me. But yeah, this is one of the best winter fragrances you can have in your collection. So that brings me to the end of this list. The fragrances that I mentioned, most of them are reviewed, a couple of them not reviewed. I will review them very soon, and I'm hoping you really enjoyed the video. And if you did, do give it a like. Take care. Bye-bye.